Hey guys, it's Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. How's it going? What's shaking? All that jazz. If you can't tell, I'm using a different background today just for fun, just to shake things up. This is my headboard. I thought it looked cool. Maybe I'll regret it when I edit this video, but that's what we're working with today. The first and most exciting bit of news I have to talk about today is that I actually got my first critique partner. Oh my gosh, I can't believe someone actually wanted to work with me. So my critique partner is actually someone you guys know here on AuthorTube. It is Evie Redding. I adore Evie Redding. I started watching her videos pretty much when I first got on AuthorTube over a year ago now. So we've been friends for a while. I love her content. I love her personality. Every time she talks about her project in her videos, I get very excited about it and I just want to read it. So when she reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be critique partners with her, of course I said yes. I mean, why on earth would I say no to that? That is super, super cool. I basically get a sneak peek into what I'm guessing is going to be an amazing release sometime in the future, so lucky me. Last week, Evie sent me her first chapter for me to read, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, I was nervous. I have not had good experience just on my end as far as trying to help people with their projects in the past. The first time I attempted was a few months ago. You know who you are because I failed miserably, but someone reached out to me and asked me to give feedback on their book. And I should have said no because I was at a very busy place in my life right then. And I had no real experience giving meaningful feedback on a full manuscript. So I got it and I just sort of floundered because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know my expectations and I was too embarrassed to ask. So that was a total failure. My first attempt at, I think it was like quasi critiquing and beta reading. I'm not sure exactly what I would call it, but I failed. I failed miserably. So you know who you are. I'm still so sorry about that, but I promise I'm getting better. My second experience was actually beta reading for Railee Bradshaw. You guys probably know who she is, but I'll link her channel down below, as well as Evie's. I should have mentioned that earlier, but Evie's channel is going to be down below. So a few months ago, Railee announced that she wanted beta readers for her project Untamable, which is a new adult historical fiction novel set in the Wild West. I promise I speak English. So I was hesitant to jump on because I wasn't sure if I was the right person for the project. Obviously, I really wanted to read it because, I mean, I loved the idea of it. I love Railee and I just was excited to read it. But I was afraid that because I'm mainly a fantasy writer and I'm writing adult generally, I wasn't the right person for the job. So I waited a couple days just to kind of see, if she needed more people. And then I, put the offer out there and was really pleased when she, added me to the list of beta readers. So that was my first somewhat successful experience with critiquing slash beta reading, whatever category you want to lump all of this into. I feel like the feedback I gave Railee wasn't always the most helpful. I feel like sometimes I was too vague or just too, I'm not sure what the right word is, but sometimes I felt like I was just being like, oh yeah, I love this, I love this, I love that, but I wasn't giving enough critical feedback for her to actually work with. So it was definitely a learning experience. I hope that I gave Railee something helpful out of that, but at the very least I had a good time because I got to read Untamable. So that was pretty cool. And now moving on to today, which is, my first experience just in an official critique partner relationship. And that, of course, like I mentioned, is with Evie Redding. So before she sent me her first chapter, we kind of discussed expectations and stuff over Twitter, and she had a really good idea of how she wanted the feedback formatted. So it's like one specific positive, one specific negative, one general overall positive, if that makes sense. So that's what I went with when she sent me her first chapter. Obviously, I can't give any spoilers, but the first chapter was really fun to read. I'm super excited for when she decides to send me the next installment. But I think this is going to be a really cool book when it's finally out for the public. Now, the obvious hang up that I haven't addressed yet is that I have not sent anything to Evie yet. And let me tell you, I am freaked out about the prospect of doing that. So I don't know how much I've explained before, but I, like a lot of, fledgling writers, aspiring writers, feel very protective of my work just because it's scary to, put so much heart and soul into something and really care about the story, the characters, the setting, all these things that you've put into it, and then to just put it out there and say, hey, give me feedback. Because, general rule of thumb is not everybody is going to have nice feedback. And it's intimidating and nerve-wracking to make that leap into, asking for critique. So actually today, I've got my laptop. It is falling apart. So just to illustrate how old and sad my laptop is, it has like a part loose in here. Like sometimes you can hear, yep, there it was. I know you guys can't hear it, but like sometimes you'll lift it and something rattles inside. And then if you jostle it, it like turns on even though it's not open. So I'm gonna open my laptop, get it started up, and open to Google Docs so that I can share the first chapter with Evie Redding. I am so freaked out. For some reason it's not, oh, there it is. It's so old. I bought this laptop, I'm trying to think. It was early in 2015. Yeah, early 2015. I think it was like February 2015 that I purchased this. And it's not even a nice laptop to begin with. This is like, I think it's a Toshiba. Yeah, it's sad that I have to check what my laptop is, but it's just a very generic, cheap, budget laptop for what it was back then. So it wasn't, high quality to start with. And now that it's going on 5 years now, 5 years old, it's just starting to break down and slow down, and it's a struggle. But it's okay. I'm the type of person that with technology, maybe not so much with phones, because I kind of fall into the trap of like, oh, it's time to update. But with my other technology, I'm like, well, if it isn't broken, I can still use it. I don't have to get a new one. So yeah, I probably won't be getting a new laptop until the day this one just snuffs it. And I'm like, oh, I guess that's it then, isn't it? Okay, so I have Evie's last message open. I was really happy because I was nervous to send feedback to her on the first chapter, because I was like, okay, what if I say too much? What if I say not enough? What if, my one negative point in the middle is like too harsh, or, just all these different doubts in my mind about what I was sending her and if it would be helpful or not. But she gave me good feedback, and it sounded like I was able to help her kind of pinpoint something that she sensed in the first chapter that was off, but she couldn't quite figure out what specifically it was. So I think I helped her with that, which is actually funny because like a few days before that, my older sister had helped me with my first chapter. Like I sent it to her because I was thinking about sending it to Evie, and I was like, well, maybe I'll have my sister read it first, because I don't know, my sister and I, like, we can insult each other and we're fine, but like I would be scared to like get critiques from people outside of my family, because I'm just used to my family, so I sent it off to her, and she did the same thing where she pointed something out that I was like, oh, that's what was wrong with it. So it was helpful, and I think the same thing basically happened with what I sent to Evie, hopefully, or she was just being nice. Who knows? Okay, so I'm opening Google Drive. This is really nerve-wracking. It's funny though, I don't know why I'm so nervous, because I actually sent out the first 2 chapters to someone else, one of my other friends on AuthorTube, because they asked for them, just because we keep talking about our books back and forth, and she's been really wanting to read it. And so I finally was like, okay, I'll send out a couple chapters and just see what she says. And if my heart is broken, then I will quit the internet and never come back. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not that sensitive, I hope. So I have already sent the first 2 chapters out to someone else, and I'm waiting for feedback. But I don't know, it just feels like so much more like final and intense sending it to Evie, because we're like official critique partners. Like, this is our role for each other. We're, not going to sugarcoat things for each other. We're going to try to help each other make our books good, So I feel like it just is it's so much more intimidating. It's so much more difficult. I don't know. I feel like I'm overthinking this. So I have pasted the first chapter into a Google Doc. I'm going to call it Chapter 1 Evie, just so that I can keep track of it. I wasted so much time this week. I should have been working on Chapter 3, but because of my sister's feedback, I worked on Chapter 1 instead. So I've revised Chapter 1 twice. Okay guys, so sorry that took a second, but I kept rewording and adding and deleting stuff from my message, and finally just had to say, okay, good enough. So I've got my message written, the link's in there to the Google Doc, and I'm going to send it. Oh my gosh, it's gone. I can't undo it. I hate my life. So I'm guessing in the next, few months, year, whatever, as we're working on critiquing each other's projects, I'm going to be doing a lot more updates about my impressions from being a critique partner, what I've learned, what mistakes I've made, what advice I have to give people that haven't done it before and are interested in having a critique partner and in being a critique partner. So hopefully that'll be helpful for you guys. But yeah, I'm kind of dying a little bit. I think I better end this video here. I've rambled on long enough, but yeah, this week was not that productive. I basically just revised the first chapter and freaked out about it a lot and ate chocolate and rambled to my husband about how stressed out I was. Writing is so fun. Okay, thank you guys for watching this really weird and all over the place update. I promise I have really fun and more structured content planned for Preptober and of course for National Novel Writing Month. So these awful revisions vlogs are gonna be over soon. So just hang in there. Anyways, if you've been enjoying my content and for some reason want to see more of this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Leave any questions or comments down below. I love getting comments and answering questions and making new friends. Oh, by the way, if you have an AuthorTube channel and I'm not subscribed to you yet, just comment down below so I can go check it out. I love supporting everybody here on the platform. Okay, that's it. Have an amazing week, and as always, happy writing. Bye.